Hi everybody. This is an old journal that I have worked in the past, and it is made from one of last year's calendars for 2/15. And I worked in it a lot before I went to Africa, and I really like how it's made. I like that it will stand like this. Well, it's not used to standing, but there. And I like what the paper's made of. So this is these are some pages that I did before I went to Africa in this journal. This, a lot of these are inspired by Pack or Die. And France Papillon. And if you haven't gone to look at their videos, I would sure recommend that. Both of them have great videos. Some of you may remember this snowman with this giant hat, and this is January of 2016, this year. Before, I wasn't dating it. So I think sometimes I date it, and sometimes I just forget. I still forget. So here's a couple of faces that I made. In those days I was making, that was 8 months ago, I was using pastels, like the old-fashioned kind of pastel, kind of like chalk. They're oil pastels, and I still like them. I have all of these, and I'm going to use them for a while until I have a little extra money to buy some different ones. Some of these were made in connection with a challenge I was doing for Poet Spice on YouTube, and and some of them are just art journal pages. I really like this one. Some of them are just mark making, like this one. I was using some black paint over some unwasted paint, like Cat Hand calls it, to make marks. So that's what I'd like to do today. I would just like to use some of these markers that I bought, because I don't really know much about them. I don't really know how to use them. I tried them on one of my papers that I was doing, and I saw that I didn't know how to use it very well. So I'm just going to do a little bit of mark making on here to try and see if I can get some experience in using these pens. That was a black one. Here's another black one. It has a fine tip liner. Fine tip. And this is what I mean. I don't really know about these pens at all. Well, this one's not open, and rather than to waste the time, I'm just going to use the ones that are open right now, and then I'll come back and do another one. So this is the Faber-Castell Pit Artist pin, and I'm just going to make some dashes inside of these scallops. I need to know what these pins are going to do before I pick them up and try to use them on a journal page. And I have really enjoyed using them. The one or two times that I've used them, but not knowing what they're going to do is really a problem. So just making some marks here. These are just some hash marks. Some mark making on this journal page with these pins to help me figure out what's what. I know that I have figured out that they need to be shaken. And I think that I'll just use this journal for inspiration for the different things that I've done in the past. Going to Africa for the first time in my entire life was really a life-changing experience. Something that if I ever get to go back, and I plan to go back, I hope to go back, then it will be something that might be not as different as it was this last time, but still different, because I have never, I came back very different. Just seeing the unending poverty in the village where we stayed. We didn't stay in the big cities. By big city I mean Entebbe and Kampala. I visited people that lived there, but where we lived there was no running water inside the house. The host, the man and the family that kept us there, he built a toilet inside of the house for us, but it was a toilet that ran on gravity. So there was a giant, like a barrel up outside of the bathroom, and when we needed to flush the toilet, then we would just flush the toilet like anyone would ordinarily do, but it would be from gravity that the toilet would flush. Water would come down the pipe and back into the tank of the toilet. I'm trying to learn how to do some different dangly things that I've seen people do here, like the dangly hearts. And I'm not doing very well, but I'm gonna try to do this. Not sure to make these flowers, but I've seen them made. And they're really cute when they just hang down like from a cloud or something. I've seen different people make them as a part of their journal page. That one has no center. that's okay. So the family that we stayed with, I would consider them friends forever. They're just dear people. You get to know people very well when you stay in their home, and they fix all of your meals, and their job is to keep you safe and feed you and give you a place to sleep. And when you go to Africa, or I don't know about anywhere else, I've only been there, there is a host that promises to keep you safe and give you lodging and transportation. So it's a very different way of living. Let's see. I think this one might be a different tip, but I don't think so. It seems similar. So I would just like to have a place to look here inside of my little experimental journal. This is just exactly the same pen. For some kind of inspiration, and in hopes that if I just draw a blank and I can't think of what I would like to do, then I can look inside this journal, kind of like Mixed Media Morsels, and gain some inspiration from just looking and seeing things that I've done before, things that inspired me some other time, ideas that I hadn't thought of in a while, like how to make these doodles for borders and things like that. So, so that's what I'm doing here. I think I'll give this pen another go round. Let's see, what have I not done? Some people are really neat about their doodling. I'm not particularly neat. And I had to force myself to begin doodling. And I have a whole nother one of those little tiny books, like Mixed Media Morsels books, that has nothing in it but doodling. And those were the doodling days of February. So I know that Sea Lemon still has doodling. She gives prompts for doodling, and that's really neat. I forget to do that though. I have more. I feel like I've just recently today been let out because I have no plans for taking care of children except for my own grandchildren for a while. And so thank you for spending this little bit of time with me and for the inspiration of your videos. And thank you for subscribing and thumbs up. And especially your comments. Bye-bye.